1 year ago today, this car blew up. Now, we haven't been uploading to our YouTube for a long time, so I figured let's return with an update to this car, because we had a lot of vlogs about this being broken, and it was broken for 5 months and 28 days. But it's back, it runs, and I've put 10,000 more miles on it. Tag along for the journey.
Hello?
What have you got for me?
Took vehicle in the shop, removed spark plug ignition coil from cylinder 2 and installed a borescope into the cylinder. I inspected the cylinder for damage and found evidence of the valve contacting the piston.
Nice.
It appears the entire face of the valve contacted. I swapped the camera to the side view camera and inspected valves that found both. Indicate the intake valve was the one that contacted the piston and is bent, thus no longer able to seat.
If piston made contact with valve, then you don't know what the damage is to the bottom end either?
That's exactly what I'm going after. We're worried. We don't know. We won't know until we get in there.
Interesting. Is there any scoring on the sidewalls we're able to see, or it's just all the top of the piston?
It's all the top of the piston from what we can see so far. And we can't test it without getting the upper section fixed.
You have any idea cost of just rebuild, full rebuild?
Nothing yet. I know that it's about, for us on our side, to get everything torn down to the actual block itself, to send out the machine shop and the heads. It's roughly about 30 hours of labor.
At 150 bucks an hour?
Correct. I'll finish up on my side with the initial used quote, and then I will just focus mainly on removing the engine and sending it out for rebuild, and I'll call the machine shop and see what they would suggest and what they would do.
Okay.
And I'll kind of get a good understanding of exactly what all would be replaced or upgraded. The most realistic way of doing this is get the stuff that increases the durability of the whole engine so you can beat the snot out of it still,
yep,
and not have to worry about even having a warranty because it's been done right in the first place.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, yep. Sorry, by the way.
Ah, you're good, you're good. You guys should come up with a sponsorship program or something, because I'll...
Okay, Jacob, so what are you going to do?
I have no idea. We will see how much a new motor is. Then I'll decide. I think it's going to be ridiculous.
Would you consider parting out the car?
Possibly. What's up, everybody? We are back, and it's time for an update. Our E90 M3 blew up on Crown Rally West.
That sounds rough.
It's throwing an increased emissions issue, which is O2 sensor, but we're misfiring, which doesn't make sense. Fast forward a little bit, I do a compression test in the garage at home. Cylinder 2 has 0 compression. At that moment, I knew that this is bad. So I sent the car over to our friends at Eurotech. It is now 4 months later. We're gonna go check up on it because we have run into a huge amount of issues, and they are over there doing their best. They're doing what they do, and they're great, but it's just problem after problem after problem after problem. I should have known buying an S65 V8 M3, but I love the S65 V8 M3, and that's the whole reason why I wanted that chassis. So we're about to go talk to the techs who have the car in pieces. They have both motors, and it's time to go learn what's going on. Introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Vincent. I work at Eurotech. I'm Brandon. I'm the shop foreman here at Eurotech.
And you guys are dealing with this.
Another one of Jacob's infamous M3.
This is the motor we bought in hopes to fix the motor I broke.
This is your S65 replacement engine. We're going to replace the rod bearings as preventative maintenance, just like we did at the first go around when you bought the car. First thing we did after we took the oil pan off is we noticed that the bearing cap for number 5 was very dark compared to the other rod bearings.
And dark means it's hot.
Dark means hot in the world of metal.
Which means
we spun another bearing on the used engine.
But we didn't spin it.
It wasn't Jacob this time.
Nope.
Nope.
No. We bought a motor with a spun bearing.
So we pulled the cap off of number 5. We pulled this tiny little sliver of bearing out, and then we have our new bearing over here.
This is how thick it should be, and this is how thin that one was.
This bearing got so hammered that we can't even remove it from the engine without pulling this other bearing cap. Usually the bearing sits in the cap nice and tight like this. It has a locating tang. There's a notch in the cap that keeps the bearing in place. And once they're assembled, the bearings are squeezed together. There's access to the oil supply holes, everything. Once they sit like this, they block the oil supply, and all they do is metal on metal mayhem.
So this motor is no good. My motor is no good.
We are now looking for a third motor. Hopefully that one is good running condition, and it will get the same preventative maintenance, rod bearings, and valve springs. And hopefully hopefully you'll be on to another rally.
Hopefully. I've got 9 already scheduled for next summer, which is like 20,000 miles.
We might have to get you into a Mercedes for that.
I don't like Mercedes. I like this. Can we look at the old motor?
This is bank 1.
Which cylinder 2 I found 0 compression and I called you guys.
Yes. Look down here.
Oh.
You can see our valve is nice and jammed down.
You can see in there, yep, spring.
Oh. So the spring is depressed because it's broken.
Yep.
Correct.
And this valve is not up because it's supposed to sit high like the one on its right. And it's crushed.
You have 2 motors, one for backup.
Not like I'll need it, right? So, not really the news that we want to hear on a motor update, but one thing that I can say is when doing major repairs to a car, pick a shop you trust. They have things in place like warranties and deals with shop yards and connections that really help the process go smoothly. I was pushed a lot to get a motor off eBay, go find one, source one myself, and if I had done that, and I found myself in the position that we're in now, which is a motor that has had rod bearing failure, obvious signs of oil starvation, and just a lot of unknowns like timing chain guides, that should not be having damage on such a low mileage motor. This motor had 60,000 miles. So if I had bought a motor off eBay or supplied one myself without warranties or not through the shop, I would be out of luck. I would have this motor now that has no problem, and I'd have to fork over more cash to get another motor, whether I do that through the shop at that point or I find another one myself. So big word of advice, pick a shop you trust, talk to them, ask questions, understand what's going on so you can educate, because I like to learn about cars. Yeah, the saga of the E90 M3 continues. I'm on my way back to Eurotech and we've got some updates now. Last time we were there, we were trying to figure out what the next step was. We now know what the next step is and we're here to go take a look at really the destruction and then the rebuild of our camera car. It's time to educate Jacob on how not to blow things up.
That might be a big book.
The last time we talked, we're doing what you guys didn't want to do.
We are Frankensteining an engine together for you. We are using your original bottom end and 2 good heads off of the donor engine and creating something that will decimate all.
Bulletproof.
Bulletproof.
So you guys are retiming the motor right now then? The process, the long painstaking process?
Yep. Basically, we had to pull the camshafts out and the timing gears off. Part of reassembling is retiming the engine, getting that properly in place.
You've left this motor in pieces. What's your guys' plan with that? Or what do you do with this? Can you just put that in my trunk when I pick it up? How heavy is it though?
I don't know. More than I can lift.
What's this?
This is your stuck valve. So hold it.
Yeah, that would create 0 compression.
The valve opened, your valve spring broke, the valve didn't retract, and it bent the stem of the valve ever so slightly. And now we have this follower that's been hammered to hell. Basically, it pushed it down and it never came back up.
Have you ever seen something like this before?
I have not.
What day is today?
Today's Friday.
And
What do we possibly have going on today?
potentially.
Today's the day! The sun is shining!
Hello.
Hello? Are you excited to go pick up your car right now?
Yes, are you?
Yes, me
Yes.
too.
Hello.
Today's the day, the sun is shining, the tank is clean.
It's time to go get the M3. Okay, let's go.
All right, we're in the F80.
Grant!
And here's Jacob in the GT3.
I bet you're wondering why I'm driving a Porsche GT3. Well, it's because we started a new company called Drivify, and you can rent this.
Shameless plug.
This?
It's Grant.
I did all the work.
Good job, man.
I got a free car wash out of all that.
Let's go there first place first.
Sold.
Get that thing dirty. It's been, what, 6 months since this car has been driving?
Yes.
It's been, I think, like 5.5, yeah.
Thank you, Team Eurotech. You guys are the greatest for everything. You maybe don't like me because cars keep coming back, but you
We don't see you anytime soon.
Hey, I would love that. The best in the business. This is gonna be my first start since it blew up 5 months and 22 days ago. You know, I love cars, and cars are just material things, and it's stupid that I like cars, but I like this car and I miss this car. Guys,
Hi.
you know what this moment signifies?
What?
You know what this moment is?
What?
The first moment all three of our wrapped cars have been together.
That's true. That is true.
We've had all of our cars at the same time, but they were unwrapped. Now they're wrapped because of these guys over there. Tint Pros. Zoom in. Tint Pros. They wrapped all three of our cars, and now they're all back together.
all back together as a squad.
What a journey. We've got the squad back together. E90 M3, F80 M3, B8 Audi S4. Holy cow, the sounds that this car makes are something that I have forgotten how much that I like.